Hello dear learners, welcome back to our channel where English learning becomes an unforgettable adventure. Today we begin the incredible life story of one of the greatest leaders in history, Nelson Mandela. This is not just a story, it's a journey of hope, courage, and determination. Listening to this story will help you improve your English vocabulary, pronunciation, and listening skills. But more than that, it will inspire you to dream big and never give up, no matter how hard life gets. So get ready for the most powerful and most motivational story you've ever heard. Let's start the journey of Nelson Mandela, a man who changed the world. Nelson Mandela was born on July 18, 1918, in a small quiet village called Mbizo in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. His birth name was Rolihlahla Mandela, which in the Xhosa language means pulling the branch of a tree. Some people also say it means troublemaker, a name that would later reflect his boldness in challenging injustice. He was born into the Themba royal family, a tribe known for its rich history and culture. His father, Gadla Henry Mfakaniiswa, was a respected chief and advisor to the Themba king. Although Mandela's family was not wealthy, they were deeply respected in the community. His mother, Nosekeni Fanny, was a devout Christian who taught him the importance of kindness, humility, and faith. Mandela's childhood was simple but filled with joy. He lived in a hut made of mud and straw, surrounded by open fields and rolling hills. There was no electricity, no running water, and no modern luxuries, but Mandela felt free and happy. As a young boy, he loved to run barefoot in the fields, herd cattle, and swim in the streams. He played traditional Xhosa games with his friends and listened to elders tell stories around the fire at night. These stories, often about brave warriors and leaders, ignited a spark in young Mandela's heart. One day, his father told him, "A real leader is not someone who wants power for himself, but someone who serves his people." These words stayed with Mandela throughout his life. But when Mandela was only 9 years old, tragedy struck. His father fell ill and passed away. It was a devastating loss, but also a turning point. After his father's death, his mother took him to live with Chief John Ntaba Dalindyebo, a royal leader of the Thembu people. Chief John Ntaba welcomed Mandela into his home as if he were his own son. This marked a new chapter in Mandela's life. For the first time, he saw a life beyond his small village. He lived in the chief's palace, observed meetings, and learned about leadership, tradition, and responsibility. Mandela began attending a local Methodist school at the age of 7. It was here that his teacher, Miss Ndingane, gave him the name Nelson, as was the custom for African children to be given English names in schools. Although Mandela didn't understand why he needed a new name, he accepted it and focused on his studies. He quickly became a diligent student, curious about everything he learned. He loved English literature, geography, and history, especially stories of African heroes who fought against colonial rule. Mandela often said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." This belief drove him to study harder and dream bigger. As Mandela grew older, he became more aware of the inequalities around him. South Africa was ruled by the system of apartheid, which kept black and white people separated in every part of life. Black people were not allowed to vote, own land, or live in the same neighborhoods as white people. Mandela could see the unfairness everywhere. At the age of 16, he participated in a traditional Xhosa ceremony where boys became men. During the ceremony, elders spoke about the responsibilities of manhood but also shared their sadness about the state of their people under apartheid. Mandela felt a deep sense of duty to fight for justice and equality. When Mandela was 19, Chief John Ntaba arranged a marriage for him. But Mandela had other dreams. he wanted to continue his education and make his own choices. So he made a bold decision. He ran away to the bustling city of Johannesburg. In Johannesburg, Mandela saw a completely different world. The city was vibrant but full of challenges. Black people worked hard for very little pay and lived in poor conditions, while white people enjoyed all the wealth and privilege. Mandela worked as a night watchman at a gold mine while continuing his education. He lived in a small crowded room and often went hungry, but he never gave up. He believed that education would open doors to a better future. Eventually, he enrolled at the University of Witwatersrand to study law. He was one of the few black students there and faced discrimination, but this only made him stronger. During this time, Mandela joined the African National Congress, ANC, a political organization fighting for the rights of black South Africans. He attended secret meetings, listened to passionate speeches, and shared his ideas for a fairer South Africa. Mandela dreamed of a South Africa where everyone, regardless of their race, could live together in peace and equality. He wanted to create a country where children could play without fear, families could build their futures, and justice would prevail. This dream became the driving force of his life. Mandela rented a small room in Alexandra, one of the poorest townships, and worked as a clerk in a law firm. The job was demanding but gave him insight into how the legal system oppressed black South Africans. He spent evenings studying by candlelight, determined to finish his law degree. Mandela's hunger for knowledge was unstoppable. He once said, "I have walked that long road to freedom. I have tried not to falter. I have made missteps along the way. But I have discovered the secret, that after climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb." The ANC had existed for many years, but Mandela and a group of young activists felt it needed a fresh approach. They formed the ANC Youth League to mobilize young people against apartheid. Mandela's speeches were powerful and passionate. One of his most famous lines was, "It always seems impossible until it's done." While working with the ANC, Mandela met Evelyn Toko Mays, a beautiful and intelligent nurse who shared his dream of a better South Africa. They married in 1944 and started a family. Mandela was a loving husband and father, but his commitment to the struggle often kept him away from home. He once said, "There is no passion to be found in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living." In 1948, apartheid laws got worse. They dictated where black people could live, work, and even who they could marry. Mandela helped organize peaceful protests, strikes, and marches, inspired by Mahatma Gandhi's teachings of nonviolent resistance. Thousands joined, but the government responded with violence. Mandela was arrested multiple times but never gave up. He said, "Courage is not the absence of fear, it is inspiring others to move beyond it." In 1952, Mandela became a lawyer and opened the first black law firm with his friend Oliver Tambo. They provided free or low-cost legal help to black South Africans. In 1960, tragedy struck again. During a peaceful protest in Sharpeville, police killed 69 people. This massacre shocked the world and convinced Mandela that peaceful protest alone might not be enough. The ANC was banned, and Mandela went underground. He formed an armed group called Umkhonto we Sizwe, or Spear of the Nation, not to harm people, but to sabotage government structures that upheld apartheid. Mandela became known as the Black Pimpernel for his ability to evade capture. He traveled in disguise and gained support from other countries. But in 1962, Mandela was arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment. Even in prison on Robben Island, Mandela remained strong. Life was harsh, the work grueling, and visits rare, but Mandela used his time to study, reflect, and plan. He became a symbol of hope and resistance. People around the world chanted "Free Nelson Mandela." After 27 long years, on February 11, 1990, Mandela was released. He was 71 years old. His words upon release were, "I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people." Mandela preached forgiveness. He worked with former enemies and led South Africa toward its first democratic election in 1994. People of all races voted, and Mandela became South Africa's first black president. His inauguration was a moment of hope. As president, Mandela worked to unite the country. He famously supported the national rugby team during the 1995 World Cup, symbolizing reconciliation. After one term, he stepped down in 1999 and spent the rest of his life promoting peace, education, and the fight against poverty and HIV/AIDS. Mandela passed away on December 5, 2013, at age 95. The world mourned a giant. His legacy lives on everywhere. He taught us that no matter how hard life gets, with hope, patience, and forgiveness, we can make a difference. Mandela once said, "I never lose. I either win or learn." His story reminds us that every failure is a chance to grow. He showed that even in the darkest moments, we can choose light. You have the power to overcome anything. Remember Mandela's journey and keep moving forward. So take his story to heart. Share it. Keep his message alive. As Mandela said, the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories like this.